There was a lot of news that happened in boxing last night. From Subriel Matias, Gervonta Tank Davis, David Benavidez, and Albert Puello. Some of them laid an egg, and some of them just didn't do as expected. Congratulations to all of us for entertaining us, the boxing fans. And I do know this, not all of them can be winners, and sometimes the fight is gonna suck. These are the topics that we will be talking about today. But before we get into that, if you guys are not subscribed, please punch and knock out that subscription button. That way you'll never see his face again, and ding that notification bell. That way you won't miss any of my new boxing videos. Alright guys, let's get to the round. Ding ding. Okay champs, let's get started. First of all, congratulations to Gervonta Tank Davis, one of the faces of boxing, and David Benavidez, one of the biggest rising stars in boxing. Both of these fighters put on a heck of a show. I was entertained, and it was a hell of an event, worth my money. And also, congratulations to the loser, Frank Martin, because he actually put on a better fight than I expected. I actually had Frank Martin winning the early rounds, maybe 1 through 5, but as soon as Tank Davis stepped it up, it was game over for Frank Martin. Did not even think Frank was gonna win any rounds. I thought he was gonna lose badly because he came all drained the other day. He looked so drained, I thought he was Devin Haney for a second. So because of that, I did not think he was gonna perform well, but he did. He actually got some rounds in. But Tank Davis is just too much. I don't think anybody can compete with Tank Davis. The only person who could probably beat Tank is Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson, but those are 50-50 fights. Because if Frank Martin can hit Tank Davis, I'm sure Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson can hit him as well. Because Tank Davis' face was all marked up, and that says a lot, so he can be touched. But he did come out a 14-month layoff, so he could have been rusty, and he did say he was rusty, so it does make sense. I do expect a better version of Gervonta Tank Davis versus either Lomachenko, Teofimo Lopez, or Shakur Stevenson. In the post-fight press conference, he did stated that Lomachenko will be next, and I believe Lomachenko will be the biggest test for Tank Davis so far until he fights either Teofimo Lopez or Shakur Stevenson. But what I did notice about Tank in this fight, that he does have problems with movers, so if he fights Jermaine Ortiz, he might lose. Because Jermaine Ortiz has the best legs in boxing, nobody moves as much as he does. Because as soon as Frank Martin stopped moving, that's when Tank Davis came up, and he looked like he was fed up a little bit, and he was actually pressing the fight. Because in the beginning, it seemed that Frank Martin did come to win, but as soon as he felt Tank Davis' power, that's when he stopped trying to fight. And that's when Tank Davis said, this guy's not trying to fight, so he's not throwing any punches, so I could counter punch him. But I did see some holes when Tank Davis actually engages to fight, so I think Shakur Stevenson got this fight. But Tank Davis has the power to knock out Shakur Stevenson, so if he connects clean, it's good night Irene. But let's talk about the Mexican monster and his performance. I did not think he performed very well, and Bostic actually gave him a good fight, but Bostic looked a lot bigger than David Benavidez, and this is the first time I've seen David Benavidez smaller than his opponent. And it looked like Bostic could actually fight at cruiserweight and maybe even a heavyweight. But it looked like David Benavidez was more skilled than Bostic, but his punches did not really have any effect on somebody that big. He was able to absorb a lot of David Benavidez punches. A lot of the 168 pounders probably would have gotten stopped, but this guy was just way too big, and you see how ripped he was? This guy was ripped. David Benavidez' stamina wasn't as good as it was before at 168 because he did get tired in the later rounds. The fight, it seemed that David Benavidez was not throwing enough punches, and this is the lowest punches I ever seen David Benavidez throw. He usually throws a lot of punches throughout the whole fight, and they're very fast and very constant. So I said to myself when the fight was playing out, this guy cannot beat Canelo, but he will give him a good fight. And I said to my buddy, I think Canelo does better at 175 than at 168 because of the extra weight slows down Benavidez. So David Benavidez did not perform on par, and he also stated he was gonna knock out Bostic. But Bostic actually hurted David Benavidez, because if you seen David Benavidez's face, it was pretty bruised up and bumped up, and he also got a cut. I've never seen David Benavidez's face like that, so I'm pretty sure that extra weight did affect David Benavidez. But it wasn't that, because after the fight, he stated that he had a hand injury. That's why he was not able to throw those many punches. He also stated that he is willing to go down to 168 again and 175, but I believe it's because of the weight. He did not feel comfortable. But not everybody is as big as Bostic. Beterbiev and Bebo are smaller than Bostic. And I actually think David Benavidez is bigger than Beterbiev and Bebo. This was the first time the Mexican Monster fought somebody at 175, and somebody who was an ex-champion, so I gotta give him a little credit, and he gets a pass by me. So I still want to see Canelo versus Benavidez, but if he keeps doing that same performance, I have Canelo beating David Benavidez. Also, congratulations to Albert Puello for defeating Gary Antoine Russell. Both of these fighters were undefeated, and it was a good show. I actually thought Puello was gonna get robbed, but good thing, because we got the right winner. So Gary Antoine Russell laid an egg, as he came in as a highly favored to win this fight. I actually thought this was gonna be the fight of the night, and I think it was. But let's get off the PBC and go on to the Zone. These are two different promoters, but they both had a fight on the same night. And I think that was a very bad move with Eddie Hearn, because I would not compete with either Canelo or Gervonta Tank Davis, or maybe even Ryan Garcia. Especially the way the card was stacked for the PBC, where Gervonta Tank Davis and David Benavidez on the same night. So I'm pretty sure most boxing fans tuned in to the Tank Davis fight. But Subriel Matias laid an egg, and he lost badly to William Paro. I don't even like talking ish about boxers, but this guy was really overhyped. They said that he could beat up Devin Haney and Teofimo Lopez. This guy cannot even beat Rolly. Okay, maybe just Rolly, but I want to see Rolly versus Subriel Matias, and maybe the winner can fight Regis Prograis. So I know there's levels to this, and they don't suck, they're just in a lot lower level. Just have main events, we also have to have undercards, and that's a great undercard right there. And I will not put Subriel Matias with any top contender or any young prospect. Maybe fight Broner or something like that. But Teofimo Lopez and Tank Davis will kill Subriel Matias, and Devin Haney will go 12 rounds with Subriel Matias. Maybe he could fight Kambosos as well. But don't forget to subscribe and share the video.